Sports are meant to celebrate strength, endurance, and peak human performance. But sometimes, even the strongest bodies hide deadly secrets. These are real stories of athletes who collapsed, fought, and tragically lost their lives while doing what they loved most. On October 24th, 1971, Chuck Hughes stepped onto the field for the Detroit Lions against the Chicago Bears. With just over a minute left in the game, Hughes ran a routine decoy route. The pass fell incomplete, and everything seemed normal. As he jogged back toward the huddle, he suddenly collapsed face first onto the turf. There was no contact, no warning. At first, players thought he had tripped, but quickly realized something was terribly wrong. Dick Butkus began waving frantically for medical help. Doctors rushed in and started CPR as the stadium fell silent. Hughes was taken off the field, but he never made it back. He died from a massive heart attack caused by undetected coronary artery disease. At just 28 years old, he remains the only NFL player to ever die during a game. Decades later, on October 28th, 2023, Adam Johnson was playing for the Nottingham Panthers in a packed arena in England. During a fast-paced moment in the game, a collision caused another player's skate to lift into the air. In a horrifying instant, the blade struck Johnson in the neck. He tried to skate toward the bench, holding his neck as blood poured from the wound, but collapsed within seconds. Medical teams rushed onto the ice, and the arena was cleared. But despite desperate efforts, he could not be saved. His death shocked the world and led to immediate rule changes, making protective neck guards mandatory in many leagues. On November 25th, 2014, Philip Hughes stood at the crease at the Sydney Cricket Ground. Facing a fast bowler, a short-pitch delivery rose sharply toward him. As he attempted a hook shot, the ball struck a small, unprotected area on the side of his neck, just below the helmet. Hughes collapsed instantly. Players and medics rushed to his side, but the damage was catastrophic. He had suffered a rare and severe artery rupture in his neck. He never regained consciousness and died 2 days later. His death shook the cricket world, sparking global tributes as fans placed bats outside their homes in his honor and pushing manufacturers to redesign helmets for better neck protection. On June 4th, 1923, Frank Hayes rode a horse named Sweet Kiss in a steeplechase race. During the race, Hayes suffered a heart attack, but no one noticed. His body remained upright in the saddle, rigid and unmoving, as the horse continued running. Sweet Kiss crossed the finish line in first place. Only after the race did officials realize that Hayes was already dead. He became the only jockey in history to win a race after dying, a bizarre and haunting moment that captured the public's imagination. On August 16, 1920, Ray Chapman stepped up to bat in a late afternoon game. Visibility was poor, and the baseball had become dark with dirt and wear. When the pitcher threw a fastball, Chapman never saw it coming. The ball struck him directly in the head. He collapsed instantly. Despite emergency surgery, he died the next day. His death led to major changes in baseball, including the regular replacement of dirty balls and the eventual push toward protective helmets. On November 13th, 1982, Duke Koo Kim entered the ring for a brutal 15-round championship fight. He absorbed tremendous punishment but refused to back down. Round after round, he kept fighting, even as the damage became visible. In the 14th round, the referee finally stopped the fight. Moments later, Kim collapsed. He died 4 days later from brain injuries. The tragedy didn't end there, as the referee and Kim's mother later took their own lives, unable to cope with the guilt and grief. This devastating chain of events led to a major change in boxing rules, reducing championship fights from 15 rounds to 12. On January 13, 1968, Bill Masterton was playing in an NHL game when he was checked by opposing players and fell backward onto the ice. His head struck the surface with tremendous force. At the time, helmets were not mandatory, and Masterton was not wearing one. He never regained consciousness and died 30 hours later. His death sparked a long debate that eventually led to mandatory helmet use in professional hockey. On June 26, 2003, Marc-Vivien Foé was playing in an international football match being broadcast to millions. He was far from the ball, simply jogging across the field when he suddenly collapsed without any contact. Medical staff rushed in and attempted to revive him for nearly an hour. He died shortly after. The cause was a hidden heart condition that had gone undetected. His death led to mandatory cardiac screenings in professional football, aiming to prevent such silent tragedies. Finally, on March 21st, 2015, Pero Aguayo Jr. was performing in a wrestling match in Mexico. During a routine move, he was sent to the ropes, but something went wrong. He went limp, hanging unnaturally, yet the match continued for nearly 2 minutes, as others believed he was still acting. By the time it became clear that something must was seriously wrong, it was too late. He had suffered a fatal neck injuries. His death highlighted the dangers of professional wrestling and the difficulty in distinguishing performance from real emergencies. All of these athletes were young, strong, and at the peak of their physical condition. Yet hidden illnesses, tragic accidents, and split-second moments ended their lives. Because of them, sports around the world changed. Safety equipment improved, medical screenings became stricter, and rules were rewritten to protect players. Their stories are heartbreaking, but they serve as a powerful reminder that even in moments of glory, life can change in an instant.